Was I wrong about ISO 20022 coins? Well, the short answer is yes and no. But the long answer is essentially there was this group of coins that people flocked to that were supposed to be ISO 20022 compliant and that's with the new Swift bank messaging standard. Now, the problem is the people who are actually working in the blockchain will tell you there's actually no such thing as that. But some new info has emerged recently around these coins, which means you should be paying a little more attention to them. We're going to get onto that on today's Frugal BC. By the way, guys, if you like this kind of stuff, we like to bring you the honest truth in crypto. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Now remember, you don't have to smash it. You can just press it gently. We do the experiment, we bring you the news, and we try to get to the bottom of things in crypto to let you know what's actually true and what is just hype and shilling and nonsense. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that. We've done that with ISO 20022. We're going to do that more on that today, so we will dive into that. By the way, we have channel memberships starting at only $1. You can check that out in the community tab and get these videos before anyone else. And big shout out to our sponsors, Non-Fungible Domains, for that .algo address that makes doing everything in Algorand so much easier. And a big shout out to Marcus Furlius, an NFT project and meme coin project on the Algorand blockchain, spreading the word about stoicism through cartoon kitty cats. It's awesome. Check them both out in the description below. But let's get to this coin. So first off, what exactly was ISO 20022 and what were these coins? So the common narrative was that there was these group of coins and they included Algorand, Hedera, Quant, Cardano, IOTA, XRP, and Stellar. And the narrative was that these coins were compliant with this new ISO 20022 standard, which the Swift bank messaging platform would be using. But there's a little problem. So, and I first came aware of this with Stacy Warden, the CEO of Algorand, in an interview with JT Invests in You. He asked her about this and she said, we got no idea what that means. There's no way that Algorand there's just simply no way for a cryptocurrency at all to be compliant with a bank messaging standard. And yeah, we don't know where this came from. It's total nonsense. And that really shocked me because this narrative has been everywhere. So I started digging around and I found out the former XRP chief engineer said the same thing. And then when Algorand's CTO John Woods was on my channel, well, I had to ask him about it too because I really wanted to get to the bottom of this. And this is what he had to say.
You know, these are just platforms for standardizing the way we form messages. And like, the quite literal answer is no. Algorand is not specifically aligned to an ISO standard. And how can I say that? I can say that because if you look at the components within the stack, so that's the consensus, the ledger rules, and the network stack. If you look at the protocol layered over that, if you look at the AVM, which is executing the smart contracts, none of those components have been coded to be compliant against an ISO 2022 standard or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so, but as I said on Twitter, you know, it's not compliant, as in like there's nothing prohibiting Algorand from being compliant. And in fact, it wouldn't really make sense to my mind as an architect to implement that kind of stuff at the protocol layer. You wouldn't necessarily have those kind of messages floating around at the protocol layer unless your blockchain was dedicated to those types of messages. And instead, what makes much more sense is when you're communicating or implementing smart contracts, that's at the level, the application layer is where you implement adherence to a specification like that.
Yeah, so as you can see, the main function there is that a project operating on Algorand or some of these other coins could, at the dApp level, be compliant with these messaging standards, but not necessarily the coin. Now, why are these coins grouped together? Well, there's actually a really good reason why these coins are grouped together, and that's because they're all pretty fast, they're pretty low fees, and they're secure. So the main reason why these coins are being looked at is because they could be used for cross-border payments and interoperability. And that's kind of what we're going to get to in just a second. So there's a reason why there's the ISO 20022 compliant thing is just kind of nonsense. But I think people are grouping that together with the fact that these coins are actually really good candidates for cross-border payments. And I think that's where the things got conflated. So why talk about this now? Well, a new piece of information came out recently that shed some light on these coins and their possible use. So we're gonna dive into that next. So this is Elisa DiCaprio. She is the Director of Industry Engagement for Swift. And this is her talking about some of the coins that you and I know and love. Degnum PI, he shouts out HBAR, XRP, Algo, and ADA. He also includes DEG, which is his own coin. But Algo and ADA, the other four were coins that were on the ISO 20022 list. So let's see what she has to say.
The question of interoperability is a little bit more tricky, right? Because what we're seeing with stablecoins is this explosion of new types of financial instruments, which is fantastic, but it also increases complexity enormously. Yeah. And so how do you simplify that? So you make sure that there's still a stable flow, right? And you make sure that everybody can access this, because right now that is definitely not the case, right? You certainly have different sectors that are using it heavily and some sectors that are not using it at all, but that should be using it. So I think in terms of, we've focused a lot on financial fragmentation and how to reduce that. And it's not just a story about one company doing it. It has to be a collaborative effort. One of the things that we're doing is working very heavily on digital public infrastructure. And this is interesting because this is the idea that you have institutions and you have governments which traditionally have not built payment rails, right? Payment rails are often built by the private sector and sort of backed up by the public sector. And now we see the public sector saying, oh, there's all these things going on. We actually have to be involved in this. And you see this movement of national payment systems, of different regulations about AI and DLT and stablecoins. We've done a lot of POCs, kind of live trials, to understand where the different pressure points are and where the frictions are and how they can be addressed.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I think she makes some really good points, and I think it's interesting that she pointed toward there being multiple blockchains involved, not just one singular one to rule them all. And that was, we did this little crazy price prediction XRP video reaction yesterday or 2 days ago. And that was kind of the theme of the thing, is that people thought, well, XRP is going to be huge. It's going to be worth $10,000 a piece because it's going to be the single blockchain that's running it all. And that's not the case, as we see from Elisa here. And yeah, she's got one more video, so we're going to watch that too.
Integrate maybe with an aggregator or some other way. If we can provide a way that they can integrate maybe with an aggregator or some other way, then that would make it cheaper for them and make it more straightforward for the entire industry. So this is really where we're looking. We've done a lot of POCs, kind of live trials, to understand where the different pressure points are and where the frictions are and how they can be addressed.
Yeah, so I think this is some really important points, and I think the most important thing here is that we're going to see multiple. And listen, let's just read what he says here. Breaking HBAR Hederaccon. This is at Hederaccon. I should have mentioned that earlier. Just dropped a bombshell Swift testing coming in 2025. Yeah, so the testing is coming this year. Global financial message giant is set to begin testing. This is massive for digital asset adoption. Swift connects 11,000 banks and processes trillions in transactions daily. Think real-time settlements, tokenized assets, and micropayments going mainstream. And then, of course, as we said before, Swift's, it's kind of debunking the winner-take-all myths. They see interoperability linking diverse networks like HBAR, XRP, DEG, Algo, and ADA. And, I think this is great. He also mentioned the DREC Alliance. I know ADA and HBAR and XRP, I think DEG is involved in that as well. And that's something, we actually broke the news that was in discussion. AJ broke the actual news of it being real, but we broke that Algorand and HBAR were cooking something up. That's news that we broke on the channel when John Allen Woods came on. And I think what this means is there's going to be a huge push for utility coins, which is, if you look at the underlying theme of all the coins that are in ISO 20022, they're all utility coins. And so that's why I think we're going to see big things from Algorand, from HBAR, XRP, maybe even DEG. I don't know a lot about that. Dagnum seems like a pretty cool guy, and he's into Algorand as well. Cardano. I think all of these are, and everyone that's in the DREC Alliance, which, by the way, if you don't know what that is, it's basically all these, it's HBAR, DEG, XRP, Algo, ADA coming together to create a solution for recovery, so decentralized recovery, essentially, where a way to, if you lose your password or you lose your phrase, you can recover it, but it's still done in a decentralized way, so it's still secure. So that's the essential thing there. But really, I think this is going to be great. I think this is going to be great for utility coins. This is why I talk about utility coins so much on my channel. You saw the above, and if you saw above that tweet, there's a thing about Ondo and MasterCard. They're partnering up. MasterCard already partnered with ParaWallet on Algorand. That's being tested right now. We'll see that before the end of the year, where you can use your ParaWallet on Algorand, have USDC in your wallet, and then spend it anywhere where MasterCard is accepted. And now you don't have to worry about merchants going, oh, this merchant accepts crypto, this one doesn't. You just do it seamlessly. And it's done through USDC, by the way, so you don't have a taxing event, which is really cool. So I wanted to do this follow-up video on ISO 20022 because I know I spend a lot of time talking about, how the narrative that was constructed around it is absolute nonsense, and it is. However, like I said, the common theme is that those are all utility coins, and I think they're going to do great things in 2025 and going forward into the future. I think we're seeing the meme coin narrative starting to fall apart. I think people are finally waking up to the idea that you can't win. It's rigged against you. The house always wins. Sell the shovels, don't use the gold rush. That's the way I see it. And I think that's possible on these utility coins, which has been kind of my investment strategy and why I talk about them so much. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the like button so we can show this to more people. Otherwise, I'm FrugalBC. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the future.